Some call it Omumu, while others call it Akwali Omumu. Among the ancient spiritual institutions of the Igbo people is Omumu, also known as Akwali or Omumu, revered as both a sacred altar and the manifestation of a powerful feminine spiritual force. Omumu occupies a unique space in the indigenous Igbo spirituality. To her devotees, she is the goddess of fertility, prosperity, longevity, protection, and continuity. Her altar serves as a sacred point of communion through which blessings, protection, and guidance are sought. Fertility and continuity is the name. Omumu is associated with birth, continuity, and the presentation of life. For this reason, Omumu is regarded as a goddess whose blessings extend to every form of fruitfulness. Her devotees seek children, thriving families, successful enterprises, flourishing farms, and enduring family lineage. She embodies the principle that life should grow, prosper, and continue from one generation to the next. Now, talking about prosperity and abundance, for generations, the altar of Omumu has been associated with increase, favor, and abundance. Within the tradition, wealth includes not only material prosperity, but also health, family, successful harvest, social hours, and community influence. Very important back in the days. Most of our definition these days is different from what those who were here before us understood. But nevertheless, those who uphold the values represented the Omumu are blessed to attract blessings that promote stability, success, and generational wealth. Yes, that is a very vital point. Now, a lot of us don't even bother about what happens after we're gone. You know, most people are just living for living's sake. But our ancestors paid more attention to what happens after they are gone. They invested more in the future. They had so much love for the unseen children. They wanted everything they've done to continue through the lineage. This is one of the reasons why we need to go back to our roots, because that is the only means through which history, culture is preserved. Stability, success, and generational advancement. Don't forget that. Longevity and preservation in traditional Igbo thought. Prosperity is inseparable from longevity, yes? Yes. If you understand what I mean. Accordingly, Omumu, aquarium, which is commonly called from where I come from, is revered not only as a giver of abundance, but also as a preserver of life. Her blessings are believed to include vitality, endurance, good health, and the conditions of family bloodline. To condition it in a way that it can be continued without bridging. You know? To her followers, she represents the hope that prosperity will be enjoyed across a long and meaningful life. Protection, one of the most enduring aspects of devotion to Akwali Omumu. or Omumu is the belief in her protective powers. This one is not arguable. If you look more or have greater hunger for understanding more of African spirituality, you get to hear more of her when it has to do with protection. When you talk about a deity that is relentless in protecting those devoted to her cause, and very avengeful if you go against any of her children, then you have to mention Akwali Omumu. Her altar is regarded as a spiritual fortress against witchcraft. This one is not it's not arguable. It's a no-go zone for them. Curses, envy, spiritual attacks, any malevolent act, in fact, and hidden schemes directed against innocent people. Traditional custodians teach that she exposes wickedness, frustrates evil intentions, and shields her devotees from unseen dangers. You can bank on this one. I'm speaking from experience. You know, one thing about African spirituality is you don't need to believe anything. It's a matter of principles and patterns. When you combine these two, you see results. Like, you don't have to believe what I'm saying. You don't even need to, because we don't believe things. We know things. That is why we are Africans. That is why we are Igbos. That is why we are Yorubas. That is why we are Ibibios. That is why we are brothers. It's not about your tribe. It's about your inner skin color. Your mind. What is the color of your mind? Is it dark enough to host the excess bright light that has fed so much dangerous thoughts into your heart? Why calling everything dark evil? Making you believe that you are an evil. So let's proceed. Traditional custodians like me and you, because you become one soon if you keep following my classes, we're all custodians. Yes, don't get it wrong. I might be a teacher, yes, but it's also your duty to protect the information you have and make sure that history does not repeat itself. They want to erase everything about us so that our children will grow without knowing who, where, or what they stand for. We'll come back to this subject some other time. Let's focus on this. I teach that she exposes wickedness, frustrates evil intention, and shields her devotees from unseen dangers, bringing peace, security, and confidence in the face of adversities. Trust me. Now remember, this is not promising you anything without hard work. Emphasis on the word devotees. Those who understand the insani, her do's and don'ts. The wins here. You will enjoy as well. Symbolism of the altar. I hope you're penning things down. At this point, you should have a pen and a paper. The altar of Akwali is rich in symbolism. The earth from which it rises represents stability, continuity, and the foundation of life. It molds like structure, symbolizes fertility, growth, and creation just from the soil. While the sacred object placed upon it reflects ancestral wisdom. I'm trying to explain whatever you're seeing when you see aquarium, Okay? It reflects ancestral wisdom, divine protection, and humanity relationship with the unseen world. That connection, that bond, despite the fact that it has this, but there is a genuine connection between it and humans, a very respected. She will never break hers. If she makes her promises, you can bank on it. For generations. There are some families that are so wealthy that their children literally does nothing. You wouldn't say they are lazy, but it's as if things works for them. Like the ground moves in their favor even before they lay their steps. And some of them are living off an allegiance that was pledged generations before their time. Just the same way some persons are also living off courses that was attracted generations before their time. If I've lost you anywhere, please comment where we lost you and pick you up from there. Okay? So like I said, the foundation of life, the earth from which it rises represents stability, continuity, and the foundation of life. It molds its structure. Just like a woman from her system built after the man has done what is required of him to do, the body of the woman molds the child, nurses it. So from the same ground, she molds its structure. And what does that stand for? It symbolizes fertility, growth from the origin, and creation. Why the sacred object? I already mentioned that placed upon it reflects the ancestral wisdom, the divine protection, and the humanity's relationship with the unseen. The altar is a sacred embodiment of goddesses. The energy is there. You can't, I'm trying as much as possible to teach this on a very simple scale. I don't want to attach so much spirituality to it until you've gotten to that point where you need to start seeing it for yourself. Though as beautiful as it sounds, don't get carried away with all the good words. The altar is a sacred embodiment of Goddess's presence and a symbol of cultural memory and spiritual identity. You understand? So despite all the good things, don't just look at it as something you just go and play around with, because what will happen? It takes us to this next phase, which is desecration and consequences. Hope you're still writing, guys. The history of Igbo land contains accounts of indigenous altars being destroyed during the period of religious conflict. When some people feel they are called to break what is older than their existence. They go places, set shrines on fire, and at the end of the day, the funny truth behind this now is they break that place down and they build a church there. Then they will claim that the people gave it to them. There are so many parts of Igbo land that if you go to today, you see, respectfully, Catholic churches, Anglican churches, Pentecostal churches. When they bring down a shrine, they occupy the land, all in the name of as well. We're not here to call names, okay? We listen, we don't judge, but we teach to correct that from happening again. This is the age of self-emancipation. Okay, we all need to awaken, track yourself back to your roots, not with legs. In practice, it's time to apply patterns and principles. Now let's talk about desecration and consequences. In the bleeding chapters of the Igbo history, you will find accounts of indigenous altars being destroyed during the period of religious conflict. To the devotees of Akwali, the deliberate desecration or destruction of her altar is considered a grave offense against both the goddesses and the ancestors who established the sacred institution. You understand? Traditional custodians from the first day till today till the end of time still maintains that such acts break a sacred covenant and may attract spiritual repercussions. Among those, I feel is nothing. And trust me, when it concerns the spirit, it doesn't happen with your own calendar. These consequences are sometimes believed to manifest as persistent hardship, unexplained setbacks, unusual illnesses, mysterious accidents, premature deaths, generational difficulties, and poverty, obviously. Now, when I'm mentioning these things, don't only picture the person who desecrated it. This person is like going to the market and buying something for people that are yet to come. Remember, this deity pays so much attention to generational wealth. So when you attract the unsmiling side of her fury, also expect it to be generational too. Yes. Expect it to be what? Generational. These beliefs reflect the profound relevance with which the altar is regarded and the seriousness attached to the act of desecration. Anything can be forgiven. Even if you do it and you feel nothing will happen, my dear, you just don't know. But I'm telling you, with everything called water, with everything called blood, nobody has ever done it and survived. You can give it a try if you think yours will make a difference. This is a legacy that has endured beyond what history can hold. You understand? Despite centuries of external pressure, Aquarium, also known as, I've called it so many names based on your dialect and all. Some call it Aquarium, some call it Odomu, some call it Equum, Despite all the things that happened in the past, the religious battles and all, Aquarium continues to endure within the traditions of her custodians. As both a reverend goddess and a sacred altar, she remains a symbol of fertility till date. Prosperity, when you talk of longevity, when you talk of protection, of all she's known for, there is one that you can bank on, even when you are dead. You see, ancestral continuity. Ancestral continuity of anything she has given. If it's wealth, don't worry, your children's children will enjoy it to the fullest. If it's long life, don't worry, nobody will die young in your family. Whatever it is, there is a touch of continuity. You understand that? And as for those who really honor her, Aquarium stands as a powerful reminder of the resilience, depth, and enduring strength of indigenous Igbo, in general, African spirituality. Yes. I am making reference to Igbo. I'm saying Igbo. In Yoruba land, they still have Aquarium, maybe with a little slight in change of name. When you look at what this does and what this does, you can tell, okay, this is this. As long as Africa is concerned, every tongue have similar deities that perform similar duties. So you might call it Ewuke, and I call it Mpuke. You might call it Afa, and some other person calls it Ifa. We're all talking about the same thing. So this is one of the deities in African spirituality, mostly reverend in the Igbo part. Okay. I think I'll call this class to a conclusion here, and I'll take your questions on the comment section. And if there is something else you want us to teach on, drop it there and I'll make a class on it. We're here to learn. We're here to learn. And I am your humble teacher, Melina Liugu. Obelago Muzon Nikwago Nedu, Uduwa Kalifa Kalemo Pulunkiz. As a tree, if you're aspiring to stand without roots, you will never survive a real storm. May we not lose ourselves in search of ourselves.